What's up, everybody? Justin here, back with a new Who's Better show. New episode of Who's Better. Check out my playlist, my Who's Better playlist. I think I've done at least 6 to 7 shows already. I believe the first one was Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, and I've done Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Who's Better, Steiner Brothers, Hart Foundation, and not the group, not the faction, the Hart Foundation, Steiner Brothers against the tag team, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, Hart Foundation. Other Who's Better shows I've done is Eric Bischoff versus Paul Heyman. This Who's Better is a big one, a big show in my opinion. I believe the last one I did was Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. That was a big show, in my opinion. This is another really big Who's Better. It's between two of the all-time greats, two icons. One of the icons is this guy right here, who reinvented himself a few times. So anyways, Who's Better? This episode of Who's Better is The Undertaker versus Sting. Who's better? I will decide. I will say who I think is better at the end. It's my opinion. It's my show. If you don't agree, put down who you think is better, Sting or The Undertaker. Who do you think is better in the comments? So, a lot of fans might say, well, Undertaker has wrestled a lot longer. Been a main eventer longer. Maybe he's also stuck around a bit too long. So, first I'm going to start with The Undertaker. And I'm going to start with the bad. Some of the bad that happened to The Undertaker in his career. Some of the bad things, in my opinion. So let's start off with the streak ending. The streak ended at WrestleMania 30. That was depressing to watch. That was, I'm not upset it ended, but I'm not sure they ever should have ended it. It probably should have never ended. The streak should have went on. And The Undertaker probably should have retired undefeated at WrestleMania. That's just how I would have booked him. The only way I would have had Undertaker lose the streak is to one guy. That is Sting. If Sting and Undertaker could have ever met at WrestleMania years ago, I would have had Sting defeat the streak. That would have been shocking. That would have been good. I like Brock. I still like Brock. I'm still a fan of Brock. When he steps in the ring, you know the opponent of Brock's is going to get their fucking ass kicked and taken to Suplex City. That's why I like Brock. The guy is a violent beast, a violent man. But I would have rather had Sting and the streak, in my opinion. That would have been better. So some of the bad about The Undertaker, the streak ended. The streak of his WrestleMania streak ended at WrestleMania 30. That was a bad part of his career. That was a downfall. Also, more bad when he first started and he was in his first major wrestling company, WCW, Mean Mark. Mean Mark. I don't know what the gimmick was, basically himself, Mark Calloway, as a wrestler, and they called him Mean Mark. That was bad. More bad, all the returns, my God. All the returns he has had as the Undertaker character. the guys had so many comebacks and returns. I didn't try to list them all because there's been too many. There's probably been a few I've even forgot. If you know all his comebacks, you can please feel free to write them down in the comments because I don't remember them all. I mean, I'll just say his first comeback, I think, was SummerSlam 94, is when he was gone for a long time. He was gone for a pretty long time. He didn't have a match at WrestleMania 10. I don't know why. I guess he's injured or something. Or they just kept him off TV for the storyline that The Undertaker is missing. And the storyline was Ted DiBiase had said he was bringing The Undertaker back. He knew who the real Undertaker was, and he was coming back soon. Well, Undertaker, that was like his first return. SummerSlam 94. Then he returned again in 2000. He was away because he had injury. I think a torn bicep or rotator cuff. So he missed WrestleMania 16. He was not on it. And he returned in May of 2000 with a new gimmick, the American Badass. I like the American Badass gimmick. Anyways, that was another return. He's had so many other returns. I mean, WrestleMania 20, he was gone for a lot of months. And he returned at WrestleMania 20. That's another return. And my God, the guy's had like probably 10 to 15 returns. Maybe not that many, but it feels like that many. So, too many returns, too many comebacks. That's a bad part, in my opinion. Also, so that's all the bad I have on The Undertaker. That's all the bad I could think of. Also, maybe is stuck around a bit too long, but the guy is still a draw. The guy still makes WWE money. Look at Extreme Rules. He was appearing on Extreme Rules 2019. Look what happened. They sold out. I'm not just saying they sold out because The Undertaker's on the show, but he really helped. He's still a draw. He still makes WWE money, I'm sure. And he still gets major pops, major reactions. Like it or not, he still is super, super over. So if I was in Undertaker's shoes, or in his boots, I would probably still wrestle too. If I could get paid a ton of money to wrestle 3-4 times a year. It's not like he's 60 years old or 65 or a senior citizen yet. So what the hell's he gonna do in his 50s? Just sit at home and be bored? Stare at the wall? I don't think he wants to just do that. I'm sure he enjoys his time off, but I don't think he's ready to retire. And I enjoyed what he did at Extreme Rules 2019. I thought he performed really good. And he looked really good and recharged. And he looked in great shape. So the only bad I have for The Undertaker, the streak ending, all the returns and comebacks, and Mean Mark. I'm not going to say bad is that he's still wrestling. I'm not going to say that. Because it's his career. He can do what he wants. I'm never going to tell a wrestler on any of my videos. I'm never going to yell or say, you should retire, hang it up. You don't have any more. I'm not going to say that. Unless you're Goldberg. Then I'll say it about him. So now the good that The Undertaker has done. The really good parts of his career that he has done and accomplished. And just really good feuds. Let's start off with feuds The Undertaker has had. Guy's had epic feuds with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Mankind, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar. The guys had great matches with all of them. Really good matches with all of those guys I listed. His best matches were probably against Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. So his greatest opponent, probably Mankind or Shawn Michaels, I would say. And him and Shawn Michaels, they made history so many times together. So more good about The Undertaker. He had a really good manager. In 1991, he got Paul Bearer as his manager. That really helped the Undertaker character. It helped him get over more, having Paul Bearer by his side. Paul Bearer, really good manager. The guy was really good before he was Paul Bearer in World Class Championship Wrestling. He was really good as Percy Pringle. And I believe he's also in the USWA as Percy Pringle. He's a really good manager. Underrated. Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle, really underrated manager. The guy could talk. The guy could get a ton of heat. He was good. So, again, in 1991, he got Paul Bearer. That was really good for him. That was good for his career. More good. The WrestleMania streak. It started at WrestleMania 7 is when the streak started. It lasted from WrestleMania 7 to WrestleMania 30. That will go down in history as one of the greatest streaks. It should have never ended. But I believe he went 21-1. I think. I should have probably looked it up, but I think it ended at 21-1. I think. So a really good streak that lasted over 2 decades. Really good. And of course, he did not appear at WrestleMania 10 or 16. So the streak could even add 2 extra wins added to it. So more good. His Undertaker gimmick. How he played the Undertaker character. How he played it. He played it to perfection. Nobody else. And Vince McMahon deserves credit. He came up with the Undertaker gimmick. He came up with it, I think, for Mark Calloway. I don't think he had anybody else in mind to play it. So Vince does deserve credit. The guy is a genius for coming up with the Undertaker character. But Mark Calloway, the man that played the Undertaker character, he played it to perfection. He played it so damn well. For a long time, he wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't even cut promos. Paul Bearer would usually talk until about, I think, 92, 93 is when he started cutting short promos. So the Undertaker gimmick, that's not just good. That was epic. One of the greatest gimmicks of all time. Also, more good, his loyalty. He was so loyal to the WWF, and WWE's been so damn loyal. Not just to Vince, but to WWE. It's been very loyal to the company. That is good in my opinion. That's really good. These are some of the best, more good. These are some of the best years he had as a heel, in my opinion. He was a really good heel in 1990, 91. Some of probably his greatest years were 90, 91, 2000. He returned at Judgment Day 2000 as the American Badass, a new gimmick that probably Vince was afraid wouldn't get over. Well, he got it over. So, more good. I just wanted to mention those years 99, 90, 91, 2000. Really good years. Really good years for the Undertaker character. Also, more good 30 years. For 30 years. Almost 30 years. He's been in WWE 29 years. For almost 3 decades, The Undertaker has been a main event top guy. For 30 years, he's been a main eventer. Main event superstar. That's really unheard of. That is unreal. More good. More good. Some of the really good matches he had and really good moments in his career. 1991 Survivor Series. He defeated the immortal Hulk Hogan. Fans were shocked. The Undertaker defeated Hulk Hogan. Yeah, he had help from Ric Flair, but so what? Heels get a lot of help a lot of the time from other heel wrestlers or heel managers. It happens. It's part of the business. Heels cheat to win titles. Undertaker defeated Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 91. And watch it back on the network. After he won the title, you had just a great set of interviews at backstage. You had a great interview from Ric Flair and then Roddy Piper. Great stuff. Really great interviews about The Undertaker winning. Just entertaining as hell. Entertaining interviews from Ric Flair and Piper at Survivor Series 91. Also, The Undertaker has been a part of so many firsts. So many first gimmick matches. I'll be right back. Okay, I was saying, this is who's better. Sting, the Icon, versus The Undertaker. More good from The Undertaker's career. I was saying he has been part of so many firsts in WWE, WWF, part of first gimmick matches that were basically created for him, or for him to be in. First ever buried alive match in 1996 at In Your House, Buried Alive. I believe it was October 96 pay-per-view. Part of the first ever Hell in a Cell match in 1997. In Your House, Bad Blood. He was part of the first ever Hell in a Cell. Still holds up as probably the best ever Hell in a Cell match. Was part of the first ever Inferno match. That was awesome with Kane. Oh, I wanted to mention also more good about Undertaker feuds. He was in a really good feud with Kane in 98. So, more good about The Undertaker. Guy's one of the best big men, one of the best big men giants in wrestling. Because the guy's close to 7 foot, so he is a giant. The guy's one of the best big men in wrestling. Super agile, super athletic. The guy does old school. He can still do old school and walk the top rope in 2019. I couldn't even do that, and I'm 36 years old. Undertaker's like, 18 years older than me, I think. I think he's 54 or 55. Maybe he's 53. I'm not sure. I didn't look up his age. The guy's one of the best big men in wrestling. The guy could dive over the top rope without his feet hitting the top rope. He can't do any more, and he shouldn't try because he'd probably land on his head or not make it over the top rope. But so what? Father Time is undefeated. He should not try to dive over the top rope ever again, because I don't think he'd be able to make it over without getting hurt. All the WrestleManias, more good about The Undertaker. All the WrestleManias he's been a part of. so many. Probably set the all-time record as far as a superstar on the most WrestleManias ever. I'm pretty sure he's appeared on more Manias than Shawn Michaels, and Triple H is probably second as appearing on the most. But I believe Undertaker has to be first. The guy debuted at WrestleMania 7, was his WrestleMania debut, and he's still wrestling in 2019. He only has missed WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 16, and WrestleMania 35, and I think that's the only ones he's missed. At least 3 or 4. That's it. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe he's missed at least 3 or 4. Maybe 5. So that's all the good about The Undertaker's career. The guy's had so much good. Now let's go to Sting. First, I'm going to start with the Sting made his debut in 1985. I think Undertaker made his debut in 84 or 85, I think. But Sting made his debut in 1985. So now I'm going to get to the bad from Sting's career. Not much bad at all. Because I love Sting. The guy's one of my favorite wrestlers. The guy's in my he's in my top 5 of all-time favorites. So some of the bad is that he never went to the WWF. That's the only bad I can think of. That is seriously the only bad I can think of. He never went to the WWF in the 90s or early 2000s. He never went. He probably should have. In 2001 or 2002 or 2003. I don't know why Vince could not get him to come. I think he had a deal on the table to show up. I think at WrestleMania 18 or 17. But Sting did not. This is from Sting saying this. I believe he said he didn't trust that his character would be treated good. He just thought he didn't trust that his Sting character would be booked the right way and not buried. And he was probably right about that. Because when he finally did come in 2015, he lost at his only WrestleMania. And he shouldn't have. Stupid bad booking in my opinion. I don't care if Triple H was still going to be on TV wrestling and Sting wasn't. I don't care. Sting should have went over. I will go to my grave thinking that Sting still should have won. That was a wrong decision to have Sting lose to Triple H. Again, I will go to my grave believing that. It was a wrong decision. So, he didn't want to go to WWF because he didn't trust that his character would not be booked right and would not be buried by the WWF guys. And that probably would have happened. He probably would have had a match with Undertaker and probably would have lost at a WrestleMania. Probably would have lost to Stone Cold and lost to Shawn Michaels and lost to a lot of guys that were WWF guys. But that's just, in my opinion, a little bit of bad. That Sting never went to WWF in his prime or went there earlier. Now, he didn't need WWF to be a big star, to be a top guy. He did not. He was WCW's franchise. He was their top guy. I'm not saying he needed the WWF. He didn't. But it was nice to see him there when he finally came. Even though I wish he would have came 10, 15, 20 years earlier. So now the good. All all the great feuds he had in really good matches. Just so many good feuds Sting had in his career. The biggest, the most important that put him on the map, that got him over, in my opinion, as the franchise, as the company's next top guy, Ric Flair. Sting and Ric Flair had, a lot of the same matches. Sting has even said in interviews he wanted to do different spots and change the match up, but Ric Flair didn't want to change the spots of the match. A lot of the matches were the same. But, I don't know, Ric Flair didn't want to change them because he thought, why change the match? The matches we have had, because they worked. But it would have been nice to see them do something different in the matches in different spots. Sting was up for it. I guess Ric Flair was not. I don't know. So the feuds, Ric Flair, the top feud Sting ever had, his greatest rival. Other really good feuds were against Lex Luger, Hollywood Hogan, the NWO, the Great Muta. And that's about his Vader. Another really good feud was against Vader. Even a short feud with Cactus Jack. That was really good in WCW. He was WCW's franchise. He was their top guy. He was the guy in WCW for over a decade. He never left. Just like The Undertaker, he was super loyal. He was loyal to WCW. He deserves credit for that, for being really loyal. That was really cool, that he never left. He was WCW's icon. Again, he never left. He was in the NWA, which became WCW. He was there from 87 until 2001. Very loyal. And that makes me respect Sting even more. And I was even more of a fan of him because he was so loyal and never left. Until WCW closed, and then, of course, he left to make good money in TNA. Before TNA, Sting actually worked in an Australian wrestling company that was on pay-per-view. I actually ordered their pay-per-views. They were called WWA, World Wrestling All-Stars. I think he only had like one match there against Lex Luger, to where he won the WWA title. More good about Sting. All the championships the guy has held. The guy won his first championship in 1989. He became the TV champion. And he also became the U.S. champion in 1991 and 1995. He became a tag team champion in 1996 and 1998 with Lex Luger, and later on with the Giant and maybe Kevin Nash. He also, some of his WCW World title wins. 1990, for the first time, he won the title. Still pisses me off that Sting and Warrior broke in the business together at the same time, and it still makes me mad that Warrior got the world title before Sting, because Sting was always better. Always was better and always will be better. So Sting became the world champ for the first time in 1990. That was awesome. At Great American Bash, 1990. Became the world champion again in 92. And 94, he defeated Vader for the vacated international world title. And then he defeated Hollywood Hogan in 97 for the world title. Then he became world champion again in 1999. And then just the gimmick, the character change. Just look at his shirt. The guy reinvented himself, changed his gimmick, changed his look, changed his character. Did not speak as the Crow, Sting. He did not speak for well over a year. All he did was use his eyes to tell a story. He didn't need to speak. He was up in the rafters. Everybody knew by the look on his face and his actions that he was after the NWO and he was Team WCW. The guy reinvented himself, changed his gimmick from the old school, colorful gear, colorful, sparkly, awesome jackets, blonde, bleached, blonde, flat top Sting to the Crow Sting. What a gimmick change. And the guy played the Crow character perfectly. I don't care if they stole it from the Crow movie. I don't care. It was still awesome as hell. It was still great and fun to watch Sting play the Crow character. And the guy played it to perfection. The guy could have done a Crow movie and played that character. He was that good. And that's just a real tragedy that Jason Lee, that played the Crow, the guy actually died. Very sad. I think he was shot by accident, shooting the Crow, or after the Crow movie, he was shot by the bullets were not supposed to be real. I believe that was the story. I think that's how the original Crow, Jason Lee, died. Bruce Lee's son. Very tragic. He's not around anymore. I think they even, I'm not sure. They might have made a Crow movie, Crow 2, I think. I'm not sure though. I would have to look it up. If you know if they made a Crow 2, put it in the comments. I don't think I've ever even seen the Crow Part 2, if there is a Part 2. So, the Crow gimmick, reinventing himself, not just once, but he did it again in TNA Impact Wrestling. He became the Joker Sting. And I thought he was great at it. He played the Joker character great. Just the crazy, psycho, nut, crazy Joker type. I wouldn't call him a clown, but he had Joker makeup. He changed his face paint to like Joker makeup. And my God, he was brilliant. Played the Joker Sting so damn well. Some of his promos at Hogan and others were just great, entertaining as hell. So, other good about Sting, his TNA run, I enjoyed it. He was in the main event Mafia. I enjoyed that. He feuded in TNA and had really good matches with Kurt Angle. And I enjoyed his feud with Hogan and Immortal. I enjoyed his feud and matches with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Bully Ray and Magnus. He had really good matches with them. Might even had a really good match with Bobby Roode. I'm not sure, when Bobby Roode was TNA champ. So I enjoyed TNA. Let me start over. I enjoyed Sting's TNA run. I thought it was good. So that's the good. And finally, more good. Finally, he debuted in the WWE at the 2014 Survivor Series. What a debut. What a pop. What a reaction. The fans did not forget. And still, he could be retired for forever. He can never wrestle again, and I will never forget Sting. The guy's one of the all-time greats. I'm sure there's a lot more good that I did not mention. More good. One of his feuds was against Rick Rude. That was a great feud. They had great matches. I'm sure there's more good with Sting. I just can't think of it. So now who's better? Now I decide who's better between Sting and The Undertaker. Sting versus The Undertaker. Who's better? Who's better is Sting. My opinion, Sting is better than The Undertaker. And I'm not just saying that because Undertaker still wrestles. That's not why I'm saying it. If I did this show in 2010, if I did this, I would have said Sting is better, in my opinion. Because he reinvented himself to the flat top, bleach, blonde flat top, to the Crow, to the Joker Sting. And he came to WWE and did pretty good stuff for the short time that he was there. Like, remember before he faced Seth Rollins on an episode of Raw, he had a Seth Rollins statue. He pushed it in a garbage truck, crushed it. That was good, funny stuff. The box that lifted up in the ring that was supposed to be a gift for Seth Rollins, and Sting was under the box. That was awesome. Those were awesome moments. I still wish he won. On his WrestleMania debut, WrestleMania 31, he should have won. He should have won. Whoever booked it, and I'm pretty sure Vince did, you were wrong and stupid for booking Triple H to go over. Sting is better than The Undertaker, in my opinion. It's my show. Maybe you have a different opinion. Leave your opinion. Who you think's better between Sting and The Undertaker? Who do you think is better? I'm a wrestling fan, a hardcore, passionate wrestling fan. I want to hear other opinions of other passionate fans. Who do you think is better? Who's better between you, Sting or The Undertaker? I pick Sting. Hope you enjoyed this new episode of Who's Better. Future, the next Who's Better will be between Demolition versus the Road Warriors, a Legion of Doom. Bye for now, everybody.